Okay, this is one of those moments where it was just kind of funny to see, like, the actual, like, okay, if you take somebody on and it's their bailiwick, like, this is going to end up happening. Like, you're going to end up having this problem all the time. And, so, I guess I like how I found this out by hearing the after the laughter part of it, where Nick Fuentes is talking about how he really didn't want to debate destiny and didn't really know what it was going to be about. He knew a bit, but he said he didn't really prepare. He just kind of went off what he knows, which shows how much he knows about the relationship of America and kind of the diaspora in modern times, and so something that really came through, and Destiny did need to take it from. He should have took it as, why don't you convince me of what you're saying, rather than Destiny thinking that he could contest what was being said, because he couldn't contest what was being said. He didn't have the raw knowledge. He just didn't have the knowledge base to be like, I could contest this, what is not really conspiracy theory. And this is the part of it that then it's like, Destiny, okay, you're not getting, like, if you're into Zionism, you have a lot to brag about. Like, I really mean that. Like, if you were to study it like it's a story, what I suggest it's a huge book. It would take you probably a bit of time to get through, or anybody, but like a little breakdown of it by the author, Frank Black, The Transfer Agreement, is a fantastic story, because one of the things it gets into is it has this huge section in the beginning of all the various councils. So there's like the various Zionist councils. There's a variety of different Jewish councils that, I mean, are worldwide. There's the one of the most, like, okay, for instance, like something I mentioned here, like, you see, I'm fascinated by Jewish history. This is why there's a part of me, what was it? I was talking to Arcion once, and I was like, if I was one of them, my mentality would be, okay, no. All of you know our ancestors came from this area. This area is just now being claimed by the Arabs who took it over during Islam, and so it's fair game. This is why Israel thinks like it's fair game to topple surrounding governments, because to them it is. I mean, everyone proved it was fair game. They let it happen to them, and then went out of their way. Even though it's like, yeah, you see in this book that we lived here, and that there was never a thing like, oh yeah, we're going to, kind of give you a slice of the pie or something like that. That couldn't be done. I could understand their anger. I could understand why they would be pissed. I mean, I just was sitting there like, I get it. I get why they would be pissed. And every time they try to take a nap, somebody tries to invade the country. And so I'm like, I could understand why they're pissed. And that they'll do what it takes to win. And that's the other thing, is that at some point you do what it takes to win. And one should, and then in just the idea of ethnic collectivist politics, I mean, it's the group that everyone has to, like it's the Chinese and the Jews. Like, how do they do what they do? How are they as successful as they are? And without people understanding their histories like kind of what the traditions are that make them act the way they do, customs that have developed over time, and it's just these would be people who kind of are like a constant mystery. And so I found that when they were debating, it really showed these people are a mystery to Destiny. He doesn't really find the history of the Jewish people interesting. So he can't really know like these kind of crazy ideas about them that people have. And there are some that are pretty crazy. There's others that it's like, well, it's in the interest of their community that they do that. And there's a word for it. In the Yiddish or Hebrew, there's a word for this. So like the idea of buying only from other Jews, there's a word for that. That's a custom. That's a real custom. Like that's a real thing. That they buy from each other first. Now the thing is, this allows them also to put the pressure of the consumer on the producer. So it also makes people have to stay competitive and have a certain level of quality that they maintain. But this is true in the Chinese American community, that growing up around Chinese people in San Francisco, up until a certain period of time where like somebody had a job and they could buy their own clothes, mom bought your clothes at the Chinese store. And so girls would wear like weird, almost baby like odd looking clothes. They would look like their mothers. They would go to the store that cut their mother's hair. They would dress in the clothes that their mother wore. They looked like weird little old ladies. It was so funny. I used to feel so bad. But then it made these girls wait. They fundamentally weren't young and they weren't sexy little things until they were out of high school and with a job. And so Nick One, I watched only so much of it, and it was really, at a certain point, Destiny, his reactions were he was starting to be Destiny. He was doing the thing where he's constantly trying to derail what's going on, trying to pick out, you said this, but now this, and then that, and it's because he doesn't understand like the larger picture. Then it's also he just had completely, he just had crap sources. He was relying completely on CNN, the embedded network in every endeavor of the Pentagon. So it's totally not American propaganda. The Arab Spring, totally legit, bro. Totally went exactly like CNN told us. There was some man and he was starving and he needed a sandwich and he said no, and then everybody rebelled, and then they just found tanks and machine guns on the backs of trucks, and they and even though this all takes a lot of training to do, they did it, and yeah, that's totally what happened, bro. Totally. No, one of the first channels that got demonetized on YouTube, Storm Clouds Gathering, had proof positive that members of what were ISIS organizations and FSA organizations, it was just the same guy changing clothes and doing interviews on different channels in the Middle East. And this dude he could speak Arabic, so he translated it all. And he's the first person who showed everybody the pictures where you see John McCain standing with these FSA guys, and then he has the picture where you see the same dudes, but what they're doing is the Salafist. They're doing things that show that they're Salafists. And so it really is this thing that Destiny did not understand. The Turkish gambit was that we promised Turkey a whole bunch of Mediterranean oil and gas reserves. Fundamentally, we basically said, hey, we'll break up Syria's oil and gas reserves that's under the Mediterranean, and they'll be yours, and and you'll have to share with Israel and Greece. And so that's why America has and the EU have kind of gotten a little friendlier with Greece. That's a part of it. They went along with the deal, whatever the deal was. And this is Aphrodite Oil Field, East Med Oil Field, Leviathan Oil Field. And then, yeah, so there's that. So there's this, that Destiny didn't know this stuff. He just couldn't, and it would take, you have to be really following this stuff. He probably doesn't understand Mohammed bin Salman and why that guy's important, or even the fact that he's the one who's been raised up to become king. He probably doesn't really get the import of bin Salman on all of this, and then there's this structure of there's inexplicable weapons on the field in in Syria and in Iraq. He really biffed when he exposed. He really didn't understand the Iraq and the bourse that Saddam was forming, and like Nick crushed him, and Destiny should have really taken it on from a different angle. And he's going to probably claim like Nick was just saying this, and then he would just randomly say that, and it's like, no, Destiny, you looked terrible. Like, look at you. You obviously are not confident in your knowledge base. You weren't. Or else you wouldn't be tremulously shaking as you're trying to, slow Nick down. That was the thing. He was trying to slow Nick down because Nick had too much knowledge, too much substance at too great a volume. Destiny is one of these people that when he talks fast, there's no substance to it. What he's doing is he's just saying, well, he's usually using various types of tricks of debate and just doing it very quickly. And that's why so many people they don't really take him very seriously as like a guy with smart hot takes or something like that. But this was really good that this is one of these moments that was gold. But one of the cutest things over the last few days was another thing along these lines. Was when I don't know if I told everybody about when Pearly Things was on was talking about occult feminism with that panel. One of the best things that came up is when they were talking about the influence that Talmudic law had, and that she was unfamiliar with the term that he was using. And so he goes, oh, well, the rules about daily life and practice of Jews that comes out of the Talmud, or is derived from the Talmud. And and I just love where she goes, wait, slow down. There's a book called the Talmud. I just wanted to kiss her. I was just like, Pearl, you're so adorable. I just wanted to kiss her forehead. Like that's so cute. And once she knows about that, that's, oh my gosh, imagine how that's going to, don't you love doing this to people? Don't you love it? But all right, talk to you guys later.